hi. Can you start by introducing yourself, telling us a bit about your background and what inspired you to write the book?
I can. My name is Katy Sloop Roberts. I am an Air Force spouse, a mom of two boys, a cat mom, that's why I'm wearing cat ears, and an author of two books that star a black cat. This is Fortuna Finds a Family that we'll be discussing today. And this is Mario and the Stones, an Italian fable, my first book, but the kitty is in that one too. Can you see Fortuna in the tree? Good. So I got started actually when I was younger than you. When I was 7, my grandparents gave me a lined journal for Christmas, and I used to write little stories and poems and riddles in it. And I've always loved to read and write. And then as an adult, I'm trying to find a picture to show you. My family moved to Italy in 2019. Do you know where Italy is?
Actually, I don't know where Italy is, but I've heard
Okay.
that.
It's in Europe, and it's the country that sticks out into the Mediterranean Sea. It looks like a boot. So it's really easy to find. Okay. It's where pasta and pizza is from. And my family moved there, and there was a house in our village that I thought looked like a man with a bushy mustache. I'm going to show you a picture of the house. Can you see?
That looks like a man with a bushy mustache. Yeah.
I know, we think alike.
No.
So we named the house Mario because of Mario from Mario Kart. And one day I said something funny to my son as we were walking past the house, and it sparked my imagination. So that's how this book came into being. That's Mario on the front. And he kind of looks like the house. He has a mustache. He has a scratch over his eye, like the window has a bar. So that's how I got started.
Okay. And how did you come up with the title Fortuna and Fortuna Finds a Family?
Well, this is a story about a kitten who longs to have La Familia Perfetta. That means the perfect family. And so she is searching for a family, and I like alliteration. FFF, Fortuna Finds a Family. So I thought that had a nice ring to it.
It does actually. When you say Fortuna Finds a Family, it also almost, if you say it really fast, it sounds like a tongue twister. So Fortuna Finds a Family, Fortuna says.
I agree.
How do you create Fortuna and her name?
How did I give Fortuna her name?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a real Italian black cat. His name is Lucky. That's Fortuna, by the way. I forgot to introduce her. She's right up here. This is the stuffed animal Fortuna that gets to go with me to events. But today I'm at my house, so I have a feeling Lucky will make an appearance. And Lucky's name in Italian is Fortunato, but I thought that was hard to say, so I changed it to Fortuna, and that also rhymes with Luna and Fortuna.
And you mentioned Lucky in your afterword.
Yes, I do. He has a great story. Did you read that part?
About the part how he got hurt and how he used to jump off the balcony.
He did.
That
He
actually
is
sounds
our
like a pretty
superhero
active cat.
He's a pretty amazing boy. He has a great story. I say that he has an amazing and death-defying life, and truly he was the inspiration for Fortuna Finds a Family.
Are you superstitious? Do you believe in that sort of stuff?
I do not. I do not believe in things like luck and superstitions, but you got to go with what works. And in a story that happens a long, long time ago in a country that does
people are superstitious.
Folklore and superstitions, since I have a black cat in my stories, it was just irresistible to not include some of that lore.
Why'd you make Fortuna a black cat? I mean, if you could, then would you choose another cat?
Well, Fortuna is really exactly like my Lucky, except that Fortuna is a girl, and Fortuna has one human skill a real cat does not have. Should we tell the audience what it is? She can talk. Fortuna can talk. And in Fortuna Finds a Family, you learn how that comes to be, right? But I've always wished Lucky could talk. My family had a lot of adventures, and sadly, a lot of misadventures with Lucky in Italy before he was our kitty. And sometimes when I didn't know what was going on, I just wished he could tell me. So when you write fiction, you can do fun things like make a cat character talk.
I really like that if someone could talk like that, or a pet. If I had a guinea pig that could talk, I think it would tell me a lot of things, and it would just sit there eating its food, just telling stories all day.
That would be pretty fun. What kind of stories do you think a guinea pig would tell?
Guinea pig stories.
I guess so.
So, why did you decide that Luna should have magic?
Well, I can't give you the exact answer because it is a bit of a spoiler for this story. Remember, I showed you the picture of the house?
Mm-hmm.
And it started with something funny I said to my son about that house and involving a man named Mario. So in order for all of that to happen in the story, there had to be a little bit of magic involved. So Luna is in the story magical, and she is the great, 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 great granddaughter of an Italian folklore witch named Befana. So
That
that's how
sounds
Luna gets
interesting.
her magic. I tied her into Italian folklore.
Oh, I mean, she does seem really old, but like her oil keeps her
That's
hair
right.
long.
It's good for health and hair, her olive oil, right?
Who is Luna based on as a character, or is she just from plain imagination?
Plain imagination and kind of who I want to be. Just somebody who's very wise, also clever, someone who's kind. So she's kind of idealistic.
Mm-hmm. Are there any interesting or memorable experiences that happened in your life that come up in the story?
Yes. So I said that a lot of things that happen in Fortuna Finds a Family is based off of Lucky's life. And Lucky was a little street cat in the village where we lived. And when we moved to that village, my son, who was 9 at the time, so pretty much your same age, he was really lonely. So every day we used to go visit these cats down the street, and Lucky would just follow us back home like, hi, I'm here. I'm ready to be your friend. And so I felt like Lucky was looking for a good family. He had some owners, but they turned out to not be very nice people. And then Lucky also had a very serious accident. He got hit by a car and suffered a brain injury, but he made a very miraculous recovery. Those
It
are
also
things
shows
that
that in
guided
the
the
afterward.
story. Yes.
Was
Yeah.
did he get hit by a car while he was trying to follow you guys home?
Yes, he did. We were
Well,
right next to him. It was pretty terrible. We actually thought he had died, but he didn't. That's another reason he's a superhero, Kitty.
maybe a lesson that he should learn one day is to always stop and look 2 ways.
Yes, but guess what? Now that we live in America, he stays inside all the time.
I
In
think
Italy,
he's learned the lesson.
we would not have been able to keep him inside because he knew how to escape from our windows.
He sounds like a very clever cat.
He is very smart. Right now he's sleeping, but I'm gonna go get him before we get off this call.
Can you tell us about the process of writing this book?
Well, this story, Fortuna Finds a Family, I really wrote a lot of it in my head before I started writing it in my computer. I had finished the Mario book, and then my family moved from Italy to Virginia. And moving, especially an international move, is a whole lot of work. You don't have a lot of time to just sit and type and sip your tea. So when I was working on our new house, I was writing it in my head. And then once I started writing, I think I worked on it for about 6 or 7 months, and then I published it in about the 8th month.
So the publishing process, how long did it take?
Well, my books are self-published. And as I do this more times, hopefully it will take less time. There always seems to be some sort of problem I have to figure out maybe I need your help because you're pretty savvy with technology. But I'm old and I'm learning as I go. So the publishing part, once you have all your documents ready, you upload them, and then it's just a matter of time for them to go through all the checks and balances before they can be published.
That sounds like a long process.
Not too long.
What message or theme do you hope readers learn from the book?
Well, I hope that readers learn from this book that everybody has a good plan for their life. You may not know what it is, but there is a good plan for your life, and you should never give up because you don't know what the end of the story is going to be.
Exactly. And even if you skip to the last chapter and find out, it'll make no sense.
Well, I hope you don't do that.
I never.
No, I think I've only done that one time with this really bad book I was reading in 2020 during lockdown in Italy. And I just thought, I just can't continue this. It was a library book, and I just thought, I'm ready to move on to something else. But that's only one book in my whole life that I've ever done that with.
I've also done with a book, and it was pretty thick, and I wanted to see what was the ending. And the ending, there were a whole bunch of new characters that I was like, what? And then there was a picture of 3 witches.
Ooh.
Showing a few children cowering with their backs pressed to each other.
Yikes. Did you go back and read the rest of the book?
Yeah.
Good.
Plus, the cover looks really interesting, so I just want to find out.
Good.
If you could travel back in time and give yourself one piece of advice to when you were just starting to write the book, what would it be?
I would tell myself to dream big, because the day that I said that funny thing to my son about the Mario house, I just thought I was going to go back up to my house and jot down some ideas so I could remember this little inkling of a story that started in my brain. But I ended up writing the whole day my kids were at school. And that night, I read the first draft of Mario and the Stones to my family. They thought it was great. But even then, I had no idea that it was going to turn into this and that it was going to have a gold medal on it. And then that was going to turn into another book. And now I'm working on book 3. So I would tell myself to dream big.
Well, I think that's actually a pretty good surprise. So that's actually pretty nice. So I like how it just from a small inkling, it just turned to a huge mess of papers, except it's neatly ordered and an amazing story. And what do you enjoy doing for fun?
Well, lots of things. I love to travel. I like to run for exercise. I like to read, of course, and spend time with my family.
One thing an author has to have.
Yes, I do like my books. Yes, so those are a few of the things that I enjoy.
How often do you read?
Every day. And my family moved again this past summer because my husband's in the Air Force. We move a lot. And so we moved from Italy to Virginia in 21, and then we moved from Virginia to Mississippi this past summer. So once again, I've had a lot of house projects, and I've been listening to audiobooks while I do those house projects.
Well, actually, that sounds soothing. If you're listening to a book and you're working on a house project, I mean, also that seems like that forces your brain to work 2 things at once. I think that's really good practice, and that helps shape your mind.
Yes. And then I still get to enjoy books even and get my house projects done.
If your book characters were real people, then which one would you invite to a dinner party and why?
Oh, so that's a very good question. In the 2 books I've written so far, there are not very many characters, so it's not very hard to choose between them. I think for a dinner party, I would invite Fortuna because she's such a special, unique cat. I think she would be the life of the party. And she also has very good taste in food. My real cat, Lucky, loves prosciutto crudo. It's kind of salty ham. Loves that. He also loves Parmesan cheese. So I'd have to serve those things at the dinner party.
Maybe Lucky and Fortuna will be friends.
I think they would be friends.
And when you told me that your husband thing serving for the Air Force, I think that's a very good job to have.
Thank you.
Well, thank him though, because he's like keeping the country safe.
Thank you, Ariel.
Are you gonna write more books other than the third one?
I am. I'm about 140 pages into the book 3, and it has the same Luna and Fortuna characters, but in the third book, they leave their quiet little mountain home and they go to the city of Venice, which is about an hour from where I lived in Italy. It's very, very unique. The whole city is full of canals and bridges.
I read about it.
Yes. So they go to Venice and there are going to be many new characters, including 3 young boy characters.
Wow, that sounds great. I would love to read about and review it.
Would you like to know the title?
Yes, what is it?
The title is The Strong Bear of Venice. The Strong Bear
of Venice.
You'll have to think on that one.
Okay, that's totally random. Now I have, what is this going to be about now? I like how you, like, in most of your books, you just put a random title and leaves a reader wondering, what is this going to be about?
Well, good. I hope that's a good hook for a reader.
And also Mario on the Stones. When I read the intro in the back of the book, I don't see how stones can be added into the story.
Well, I'll tell you, Mario, in the very beginning, you might have learned that he's kind of grouchy. He's also superstitious. So it's going to be a problem that Fortuna is watching over him. But he is supposed to be working for Luna, moving stones to build a wall. And what's he doing instead on the front of the book?
He's sleeping at the foot of a tree.
He's sleeping in an olive tree, under an olive tree. So what would happen to you if your dad told you, Ariel, go clean your room, and instead you took a nap?
I prefer reading a book.
Okay, or you were reading a book instead of cleaning your room. Do you think there would be consequences?
Yes.
Yes. Well, Mario is either going to learn the consequences or he's going to change his act. But that's why it's a fable story, because Mario is the one who is going to learn a lesson.
I like how your books have like an animal and a like that Italian theme. Do you miss Italy these days?
I loved living there. It's really a neat place. They have ancient history. The village where we lived was about 300 years old. I lived in a 300-year-old stone house.
It has been an awesome review, and we are at questions now or time.
Okay. Would you like to meet Lucky? I'll shake his treats and see if he'll come. But oh, he just woke up. Come on, Lucky. I'll go get him. So here is the real Italian superhero kitty. Say hi, buddy. But he looks just like Fortuna, don't you think?
Yes, that's the thing. See over here, like, oh wow. You like, it looks like you took he just punched that thing.
Cats kind of do what they want, but most of the time he's very cooperative when I take pictures of him and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just cranky from his nap or something.
Well, if somebody just picked me up out of my bed and told me I had to be on film, I'd be a little cranky too.
Okay, yeah, I get why he's like that right now. Okay.
All right, Ariel. Well, thank you for having me. I've had a great time and you ask excellent questions.
I loved your book. It was awesome.
Thank you.
And I cannot wait to read Mario and the Stones when I can. And then the next book.
Thank you.
Bye.